Hey, bud.
Hey, bud.
So I like how we decided to do a Bayfield Sunrise video series, even though technically we're not Bayfield Sunrise employees anymore.
I love it. I love it so much.
So why are we doing this? What is the point of this?
We are making sure that people know about the local music scene in Southern Ontario. We're going to do a bunch of bands. We're going to do a bunch of friends. We're starting off with our local friends, of course. And we're making sure that people are still enjoying music and the music scene, and, you know, making sure that they know that, you know, we're all still here. We're all still thinking of them. And, you know, and today we're talking to a cool pal.
Hell yeah. Why don't you introduce our cool pal and what band he's in?
So we are going to be interviewing Matt from the Highdives and also / Fox Run from Barrie, Ontario. He's going to be right there.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Good,
Thank you so much for being our guinea pig, because we have no idea how this is going to go.
All good, man. Stoked to be here.
Matt's our first dude. Matt, what are you doing right now? What's going on with Fox Run? What's going on with the Highdives?
So I mean, we got a little bit of news on both fronts. Obviously, with the stay-at-home order, we're not actually practicing or getting together. Highdives haven't gotten together in a while, but we do have some exciting stuff in the background. I don't want to say too much because it's still in the works, but there may be an unreleased track from back in like the Ocean Blood era that might be coming out in, who knows, maybe next couple months. So that's exciting stuff for the Highdives. And also with the Highdives, we had like 12 songs like written and ready to go when we went into this thing. So I mean, once we can get back together, yeah, there's a lot of songs, and I've written probably like 6 more in the last couple months. And I know Murray's been hashing out a ton too. So, and there's a lot of material there. So we're gonna have to like come up with a whole new game plan for what to do with all of it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to do with the Highdives, that's for sure. As for Fox Run, we've been in talks for sure. We finished up most of our tracks for an EP. We actually finally just decided on some artwork direction and a title. I can't release that yet because, like, obviously it's still getting finalized. But yeah, there's going to be an EP for Fox Run coming out in the very near future.
So what I'm hearing is there's going to be a bunch of solo works coming out as soon as possible. So you guys going through like your Beatles phase now?
Yeah, essentially, you know, like just kind of whatever we can do to just like keep at it, and you know, whatever means we can. Like, you know, Murray's done a bunch of like the live streams because he has the ability to do like that solo acoustic stuff, which is awesome. So just really whatever we can do, you know, just till we can get back in a damn room with each other.
Yeah, and the Highdives just had your 2-year anniversary for Blood Ocean, yeah?
Yeah, that just passed. That was pretty exciting, and that kind of had me like revisiting like the session and like what we had done, and that's when I kind of realized there was something else that we had done that we hadn't put out and hadn't included. So yeah, revisiting the idea. We'll see what happens with that.
That's awesome. Did you now with Fox Run, are you guys like with all the bands and everything, like are you guys able to like, are you guys Skype meetings? Are you guys like interacting with each other every day or like every week? Are you guys?
We just have a group chat, like a Facebook Messenger like group chat, and
so it's all a bunch of gifts.
It lights up my phone all day long. Like it's just like messages all day. Like, you know, we're always still talking about like how to change the set, you know, what cover ideas we could work on. There's constantly talk and notes on like even the mixes that we're working on. So there's a lot. There's still new demos getting recorded. Just they get recorded separate, right? Like Randy will record his stuff at home and then send us the ideas, and then we can work with them and play with them. And that's kind of just how we're functioning right now.
It's been a bad year. It started out with a car crash, and life came crashing down on me. Love was living up the easy street.
I'm really fortunate to get to play with them. They're all really, really talented musicians. And it's one of those bands that, like, writing bass to is totally a challenge because it's not really like my regular style of writing. Like I definitely kind of grew up more in like rougher, like quicker punk stuff. So like having kind of like structures I've never worked with and things like that, man, it's so much fun. Like it's such an awesome band. They're fun. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I was like to ask if I were to try and introduce the Highdives and Fox Run to people, and they're like, oh, who do they sound like? Who do you think the Highdives and Fox Run sound like, or who would really be interested in coming to see you or download your music?
The Highdives, I've heard Murray coin the term that we are the Lawrence Arms of the North.
It's so true.
You got those moves and those eyes. I've got these shakes and bad breath.
You could go with like, yeah, it's like a Lawrence Arms kind of fusion. Yeah, I don't know. It's Fox Run though. I don't know how to explain Fox Run because like the more I dive into like their new material and like the new stuff that they're writing, there's just so many sounds. So like, I mean, there's songs where like I get like an old like 90s alternative feel, like a treble charger vibe. And then like all of a sudden you'll come out of the gate with just like some ferocious like punk rock stuff, you know? So, and then they've got like a pop punk element. So I don't know, relating them to like one band is probably a little harder. They've got a lot of genres mixed in there.
I remember with like the day I booked them, like their first song, I was sitting there and I looked at Shane and I was like, dude, remember Age of Electric? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, wait, no, now I feel like I'm listening to Thursday. Wait, no, now I feel like I'm listening, like, because there was so many, like, that band has so many variants to it that, like, it wasn't a dull moment one.
If there was one track that you would like use to introduce people, what would that be? Like for the Highdives or Fox Run, if you could like send one YouTube link or a Bandcamp page to say like, listen to this song, what's gonna hook people?
For the Highdives, I would say like check out the music video for Sophomore.
Remember when you left me outside, drinking whiskey. When I woke up, I was dreaming of the city I wish I lived in.
Yeah.
The music video came out really good. Adam did such a killer job with that. The song, I think, shows like varying degrees of where our band can actually go, and that we're not just always like fierce and fast punk. So I think it's maybe like a friendlier first song to hear of ours before maybe jumping into like Panic Attack or something. But
I was thinking Paper Pusher because like Paper Pusher is one hell of a jam, and then when I saw the music video for Sophomore, I'm like, oh, they're feeling feelings.
that's sick. That's actually like the one track on the album I sing, so that's really cool. Thanks. Yeah.
Got me driven to the rhythm of my heart. Sleep burning in my eyes, I wanna rip them out. Singing in the morning.
I remember the one day I was at work and I was listening to the Highdives and I put Sophomore on, and it was like it was during the pandemic, like I think it was right around Christmas, Matt, or like it was the second time us being open, and I was like crying and like texting Matt, like, I mean, I was just like, I miss you and I miss friends, and like that song, like every time I listen to it now, and I'm like, I feel like the emoest kid because I'm like, it makes me miss like our music scene and our friends and the togetherness. Like it just like that just reminds me of like just the first time I heard you guys play at the Fox, like, you know, that song. I just go back to that night and I'm like, man, Like, and I just like, I was like tearing up and I was like texting Matt and I was like, I miss you, man. Like, I'm crying right now to this song. And you probably called me a nerd or something along those lines. But like, it's because like, it has so many, you're right. It has like all the feels.
I think you brought up like a great question as well. So Matt, I want to know, what do you think the scene here is missing? Obviously we're in a pandemic and everything is shut down, but prior to that, and then once we're able to get back into clubs, what do you think like the local scene is missing and how do we fix it?
So the local scene was like building really well. I mean, like having the Fox Lounge and like that push really started to like bring the music scene back to what it was when I was in high school, where you had so many bands starting to form and younger bands too, which is like super necessary for a scene to thrive. Like it's awesome to have like old guys like us kicking around playing punk and whatnot. But the young guys coming out and coming up with new ideas is vital to a music scene growing. And if there was one thing that I would love to see a little more of, because we did start to play with it a bit and I thought it went really well, is some like all age shows, some matinees, and just like, you know, a couple gigs on the weekdays, or maybe like an earlier start and then you know, earlier finish, and get some young kids out getting back into the music scene, you know.
And because I think that was like my favorite thing to do back in Burlington was YMCA shows. I loved booking YMCA shows. They were like the funnest thing in the world. I loved being at the YMCA shows. You bring $10 and a can of food and you only pay $5, you know, and then you have $5 for a CD or whatever, you know, bands when we were kids. Like, so that I agree fully. That's like the biggest thing that we need right now is.
I think one of the big things when I was like a teen was that if Barrie hadn't had those matinee like Wednesday, Thursday shows at the Foundation, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now playing in punk bands. Like it was so influential to like me as a teenager and where I'm currently at. You know, it's like I'll never forget that first time walking into the Foundation by myself, not knowing anyone in the room, standing in front of that stage and watching a local band play, and all of a sudden just being like, these are my people. Like, I just fit in. Like, it just feels right. I never had that feeling until I was like, I don't know, 13, 14, and I went to a show. So, yeah, I want to see that happen again for other people.
I know for a fact that all of us promoters in Southern Ontario are going to be like, oh, crap, that venue needs bands for this Friday and this Saturday and then this Sunday, and it's literally going to be like this crunch of, okay, so like what bands are going to want to play like tomorrow? So like I think that's another reason why I made all these bills, because I was just like, and like bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
I think that brings up a great question. So, Matt, if you know tomorrow you could go play a show, if you got a phone call, what band do you want to open for?
What band would I want to open for? Like realistic or like dream wise?
There's nothing realistic about what we do. Don't even worry about realism.
Oh man, I don't know. Like.
Spill Canvas.
No, I'd probably like. I would love to play with Lagwagon. I think that'd be a dream come true if we were choosing like dream band. If it was like out of the local scene and like bands we play with that I really want to get back in a room with. I want to get back in a room with Ship of Fools. I want to get back with the Penske File. These are bands I want to see again, and I want to get back on the stage with. You know.
I think we got a couple minutes left, so I want you to play us out. So I want you to choose what song is going to play at the end of this episode to hopefully get people into a new band. But before you do that, I also want you to shout out a couple of local bands that you think people should check out.
Okay, for local bands that people should totally check out, Ship of Fools, Audio Visceral, the Anti-Queens, No Big Deal, the Sades and Barrie. Man, there's so many good bands. It's hard to even come up
Derek's.
with. Sorry, Cudbear. Cudbear's got to be on the list. Those guys rule. Overloaded, Heavy Petter, Speed Humps, and so
Razorback.
many. I could go on for days.
You gotta leave some for the
Razorback.
other guests we're gonna have.
All right, I'll cool it there, but know that if I left you off the list, I still love you. I was just on the spot. If there was a song that I would play out, I'd say play Paper Pusher. You brought it up. Now it's on the mind. Roll out Paper Pusher.
All right, well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Jillian, I know it's not the record.
It was
store.
awesome to see you guys.
Great to
in
see
your
you guys.
faces.
So everybody, please enjoy Paper Pusher by the Highdives. Matt, thank you again for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you for
having me.
episode 2.
Oh yeah. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye, Matt.